We're going up, up, up. It's our moment. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got the breaking film and TV news because K-pop Demon Hunters is getting its sequel was eyeing in 2029 release because that release date was came into the future. Yeah, if you know, K-pop Demon Hunters was a film which came out in few months ago in June 20th. I was came on Netflix and originally set up in theaters, but but Sony Pictures Animation had a lot of final buyers are doing this, and especially another film called Fixer was an R-rated anime movie, which probably didn't like myself included, was probably originally set up at Warner Brothers New Line Cinema label, but eventually due to David Sass stuff, doing the WB changing organized phase, that's pretty much didn't like, especially the tax write off. We eventually sold back to Sony Pictures Animation and then ventured to Netflix. So it's worked. But I think K-pop Demon Hunters has more become the most profitable IP from Sony Pictures Animation after Spider-Verse. So I think this is pretty much the into the future because I think K-pop Demon Hunters is a really well-crafted masterpiece film, animated film of this year. Unlike Disney or Pixar doing days, but K-pop Demon Hunters was got right. It's the best movie of 2025, and it's not this. It's not even like unlike Bobby this for 2 years ago and the Deadpool Wolverine. K-pop Demon Hunters saved cinema. With the hit song "Golden," was probably become viral on so many places on TikTok and on YouTube and all that stuff. So yeah, this has become the most watched original title on Netflix for 32.5 million views, and the box and there's also that movie which came with a theatrical release since Netflix didn't have had a no theater policy with movie Netflix movies, so it's not allowed to release in theaters. But eventually it worked and because and then also between on August and October 31st and November 2nd, it was in the wake of the Netflix reached agreement with AMC theaters to release the Netflix movies in theaters. So yeah, that's why the new Netflix no theater policy are lifted. So yeah. This is reported from Deadline. Netflix and Sony is gunning toward a 2029 release of K-pop Demon Hunters 2. The Deadline has confirmed. The news comes in the wake of the Netflix most watched movie, even adding the nearly $6 million to the $19 million August, taking near a $25 million domestic gross. Was a actually it's a theatrical run, but there's one second. Anyway, both Netflix and Sony have closed deals with the filmmakers. No word if there's a radical on the next one. While a long wait, anime movies take some time to make. Now, as you see, Sony Pictures Animation had to take a longer date of that project, and even at the even in the wake of the success of, I mean, the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse has gone a lot of delays lately, and originally set up in the 2023, but then 2024, I mean, but eventually removed. And 2025 we do, and then and the move and the but eventually in 2027, sorry, and but eventually in June 4th, but the pushback in June 25th, but to do it in the reasons. So because Sony Pictures had a release movies, and especially Netflix were having after the success of K-pop Demon Hunters, but it took so long because of the Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse movie, which came in 2 years. So yeah, I think that Sony Pictures Animation would have a difficult problems and even agreement with Netflix. So I think the partnership deal with Sony Pictures and Netflix has worked, and even well, he happened to work before in the movies like The Machers versus the Machines, Restriking, and Vivo, all the three which was from Netflix, as well as the final Hotel Transformania movie was produced from only on Amazon Prime Video, was doing a pandemic. Both all these releases came from doing a pandemic in between 21 and 22. So sorry about that. But still, I think that both releases came this year of partnership with Netflix, including This movie, and especially Fixed, was again the originally set up at Warner Bros. New Line Cinema label, but then eventually tax right up because of David Sassab debacle, and then back to Sony, right to Sony Pictures, and then eventually to Netflix. So yeah, I digress. But this is pretty much the. But they well, no, no extent was that K-pop Demon Hunters was become profitable of the for Sony Pictures Animation and Netflix. So this has become like Wednesday or Stranger Things in Squid Game, but it did right. So yeah, even though the release dates has to do with Beyond the Spider Verse movie, which takes so long, even in the release in 2 years in 2027, but the rest. Netflix and Sony had no comment with. So yeah, with the over 32.5 million views, K-pop Demon Hunters is the most watched Netflix movie ever. It's also the first Netflix film movie to hit number one at the box office back in late August in with a 2-day growth of $19 million. And after 7 non-consecutive weeks as a runner-up, the soundtrack to K-pop Demon Hunters notched number one on the Billboard Top 200 albums at the September 20th. The soundtrack has gone platinum with the hit smash hit Gordon ranking number one on the Billboard Hot 100 on August 11. Almost a 2 months after the movie was released on Netflix. So the IP is so big. Netflix CD deal with Mattel and Hasbro to be global co-masters toy licensees for K-pop Demon Hunters. So I think this has become an IP. Sony Pictures did IP right with between the Spider Verse and now K-pop Demon Hunters. That Sony Pictures Animation was officially a new beginning. That you get it right. I mean, I respected Sony Pictures Animation and the whole. I mean, after the Spider Verse and now K-pop Demon Hunters, was could be more different that direction. And because if you would know, Sony Pictures haven't been for quite some time, and especially the recent failed Sony Spider-Man universe that have like the movies like Craft of the Hunter, It's Moving Time, the movie is of course, um, uh, Madame Rep, and the biggest of all, Venom movies. I think that's probably the only good one was a good that came out in 2018 was got almost a hit big 1 million and dollars in the box office, and it's probably got PG-13 instead of R-rated. I remember that old video I did back in the day, but also that Eminem song too. But that's probably a good one. Like yeah, that it's a part of the Kamikaze album, but that the song's fire though. But still, as yeah, I think the unfortunately, Sony Pictures are probably not happy at the negative feedback of the Sony's Spider-Man universe, and especially the movies like Movies, Madame Web, and Crab of the Hunter. But but eventually, Sony Pictures decided to pull the plug entirely, and we go back to on a bigger plans with the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day movie next year. But and even the Spider-Verse movie was came in 2027, so later on. But I think that the Sony, I think this is like the Sony Pictures Spider-Man equivalent of the DCEU, that the Dead Universe. But he had a bit of a box office failures. Like this was gotten negative reactions mostly on the grifter YouTubers or any other people movie credits. Like they say we are Chris Stockman, the long before directing, before pre Cheryl Oakes, the filmmaker who direct this. Chris Stockman refused to review Madame Red because of the because he still considered a film celebration. If he reviewed he wasn't reviewing the criticized Madame Red because it's probably much so bad it was good movie. So I think no offense to Chris Stuckman. I have going to see Cheryl Oaks, but it was too late. That tickets are not available. But it's so bad. It was came out on Halloween. But yeah, I think the critic reception was probably got mixed. But I disagree that. But still, I was respect Chris Stuckman. You always be Stuckmanized. That said, I think that Sony, but I think the Sony Spider-Man universe might go me back. Probably not, but I think that's when Sony Pictures had struggles. But K-pop Demon Hunters saved the studio with Sony Pictures Animation. So yeah, and especially upcoming films, Goat. That's it. incredible title, and the new Spider-Verse movie. So we'll see what happens in between 2026 and 2027, and K-pop Demon Hunter sequel is coming in 2027. Anyway, and I also mentioned that since the deadline article, I probably need less to count. If you were around the USCLA's Horror Hall tonight, come by Deadline Hollywood's Sound the Scream concert. Why AJAE, the song, the band who did the songs for together, including the Golden, will be singing music for the movie tonight. And yeah, that's not a count, but it was it because I'm probably going to see it tonight. So as record this video, but even for people saw. Anyway, the synopsis is the Maggie King and Chris Applehand's directed film movie follows Rumi, voiced by Adria Show, Maria Mai Hong, and Sui by um, Ji Ji Yong Hu Yu, young adult pop stars in the group called Hunter slash X, who ancient the Demon Slayer. Now, I'm not talking about the um that Demon Slayer. I'm talking about that Demon Slayer from K-pop Demon Hunters, but I'll probably just do that, rebels. Yes, Sony Pictures distribute K-pop Demon Slayer movie in theaters, but through Crunchyroll. Well, anyway, and Demon Slayer and Line has their more likely as Demon Hunters. At when they say setting out stadiums and topping shots, their biggest demonic enemy, Lin Bong Hong, encourages the foundation of the incredibly popular K-pop boy band aimed to distilling the souls of their fans. The trio has to fight harder than ever to hold the demons at bay while keeping their friendship intact. So I think, yeah, this is the industry synopsis. I'm not good with spoilers, but I'm gonna go watch the K-pop Demon Hunters on Saturday or Sunday. So I'll probably I haven't seen, and I will go watch in Swedish dub. So I think as you know, I'm from Sweden, and but I think that movie was pretty aimed to the K-pop audience. It's become so popular, and I think a few years back when K-pop that movie, which will be developed, originally set up at 20th Century Fox, later 20th Century Studios for Disney. But since Disney bought 20th Century Studios and Tobacco, and eventually moved to Paramount. But and much like the previous merger between the Disney and Fox merger, that Paramount Skydance merger was come to us, and that movie was under the regime of through Paramount under Skydance ownership. So, yeah, this is another few K-pop projects that's pretty become like type thing on the delivered like was pretty much on the way, but this one has become popular because of K-pop Demon Hunters. So, but and especially the Korean cinema was probably gone to success by CJ in collaboration with the indie film company Neon. So that's what you know. So yeah, I think that industry synopsis because I listened to few K-pop songs. I know Psy was Gangnam Style was the most popular, but I'm not a huge K-pop fan, but I know that song has become popular. And even watching the movie in Korean language dub, so there's that. So I'm excited for that. And also they did another article with Variety came first. So here's from Variety. So a Hunter slash X will return to the Scream, but the girl group's reunion tour might take a while. Again, okay. Netflix and Sony has finalized a deal for another K-pop Demon Hunters movie, with the plans to release in the animated musical sequel in 2029 on Netflix and probably in theaters. So, I already mentioned that if you know that movie released in theaters, that as per this movie was came released in theaters between an August and then October to November that year, but because since Netflix had a no theater policy, um I already did it before and I'll over it. Anyway, as a first report from Bloomberg, the electronic news source, anime films take can take a long time to make, hence the potential 4-year gap between installments. Sounds familiar? That's a Spider-Verse movie. Again, I mentioned before. Of course, release date plans could change the planning of the film production schedule. So yeah. Netflix again. Netflix and Sony declined to comment. K-pop Demon Hunters is a fantasy adventure about the physical K-pop girl group who protect the world from demons with their music. Was developed and produced by Sony Pictures Animation as a part of the Sony licensing deal with Netflix. Um, the K-pop Demon Hunters land directly on Netflix, which has become the streamer's most popular movie of all time. Meanwhile, three of the original songs, Golden, Your Idol, and Solo Pop, hasn't been mainstays on Billboard's top Hot 100 chart, and did co-land the nominations of the upcoming Grammy Awards and especially Golden Globes and Oscars. So, yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters has been a phenomenal that the philosophical adverse Netflix decided to bring a sing-along version of the film into theaters for the fan events in August and October. During the first going around, K-pop Demon Hunters topped in the box office in roughly $8 million over the 2 days. Then in Halloween, the the movie collected $5 million to $6 million. Um, which is a noteworthy considered widely available on streaming for months. Yeah, this movie become popular between in theaters and on Netflix. So the movies that came out at the same time. So the movie was become profitable for now. It was a massive hit, and yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters co-director Maggie King, who helmed the film with Chris Applehans, has a long experience to inspire for this sequel. We set up so much the potential backstory. King told Variety in July, almost 3 months ago. Obviously, there's a lot of questions. There's a left uncensored area that are not explored. We had to do that because there's only so much you could tell in the 85 minutes. Yeah, I wish it would be happen anytime soon in 2029. It's going to be into the future. So this is going to be interesting. I think the horror, like I also know this movies came out in the middle of the before Halloween, and I will talk about it later on. But this is pretty much the K-pop Demon Hunters is basically family friendly horror Halloween horror related thing. We got Ghostbusters. There's Hocus Pocus, and then Coraline, and yes, the census predict the future thing was pretty much debacle thing because getting old. But like, I know remember the one episode back in the day. It's a parody of fraud. This is basically the redeadening. It's like the bad acting from Lenny that was got. But I remember some comments like I did post a comment that's like they predict that the mix between the reddening mix between the Annabelle for the Country franchise and Coraline, because the latter this is came before Coraline because he had same thing with the eyes, like he had buttons. So yeah, this is yeah, I think the animators and the filmmakers never watched the Simpsons episode who I did to see button this and before they research. So yeah, there's that. I'm not sure about the buttons is, but if you love Coraline, good. If you've seen that, this is part of the Lanky up, and this is directed by the same guy who did Night, and also, um, and of course, Nightmare Before the Christmas. Again, the same director who did of Coraline. But yeah, so yeah, I think that the family-friendly Halloween and horror film was pretty much destroy the cinema for life. And I think this is more like K-pop Demon Hunters is a best movie of 2029. It's five. And I'm not talking about Sinners and F1. I'm talking about this movie. And I think this is more to become the most biggest summer blockbuster of all time on Netflix. And it's true, but I think that movie was pretty came out in middle and before Halloween. But you know what? It reminds me. There's another movie which came out many years ago that were not released on Halloween, but it released into this on summer. So it came out in 1993, and that movie was called Hocus Pocus. It stars many great actors who have probably begun become a um, becoming some well known as he been and then the movie become a cult following. It stars Bette Midler, Kathy Narachi, the guy, the girl, that girl who voiced Peggy Hill from King of the Hero series, cartoon, and of course, Sarah Jessica Parker. This is long before Sex in the City series. So yeah, that's what you know. And this is a young Sarah Jessica Parker, by the way. But that movie's become a cult following, and especially alongside Foreign Birds, was also in the long before he did in the movie called. Ghost Wars was alongside Scarlett Johansson. Was becoming a cult following, but it was produced by John Malkovich. I don't know what to say. Anyway, but yeah, this movie has become a popular like it is. It's interesting. This movie is originally came out in 1993. That the movie was, but unfortunately, this came out in the summer, July 16 in 1996. But unfortunately, the movie is considered a box office failure. I mean, this movie came out in the hype, like the family movies are pretty good. Like after the Nightmare Before the Christmas was like, This movie is originally set up at 20 Walt Disney Pictures, but they're too scared for kids because of the under the two dog. Like Tim Burton didn't like that. But I think that the movie produced by Tim Burton and the directed by the guy whose name is Henry Selick. So yeah, I think that Disney was not happy to release this movie, Nightmare Before Christmas, in theaters for under Walt Disney Pictures, but eventually would led up to the sister label, which is actually mature label, um, Touchstone Pictures. So yeah, I don't rest. But this movie is basically like this movie came out in the summer because there's not even on October, more specifically Halloween, because this pretty fit of like watching the Christmas in July thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure that this movie is. Yeah, I'm not sure that. So yeah, this movie has become a cult following over on home video and the DVD, and especially on TV ratings was aired on ABC Family. Later, Film Freeform was part of the Halloween in October. It was a used airing of that movie Hocus Pocus on this occasionally. It's like similar to what TBS did with the Christmas Story 24 hours marathon was aired on December. Was probably as airing nonstop. Like the only missing was a good the sequel. The Christmas Story sequel was aired on TBS two, which came out on HBO Max. So yeah, I'm not sure, but sorry. So I think the Hocus Pocus is basically I haven't seen it yet, but I won't watch next year. But I would say that movie has pretty much become the over the top musical film that I've never seen. And this movie is also kickstarting acting careers we're seeing, including Flora Birch and Sarah Jessica Parker. So I probably know that movie has pretty much become the well known, which could become a kickstarting acting careers. And if you don't, first of all, first she's a young unknown actress, and this is the here later become a fame in the indie classic cult classic film Ghost World was starring alongside Scarlett Johansson, was probably known the cult classic film that people much like Hocus Pocus. That movie this also got cult classic, but was based off the 1990s comic book series of the same name. So I haven't seen it, but that movie is pretty much the over the top comedy cult classic in the vein of the Office Ward. So yeah, I think this is. I think that's pretty good to see in that movie. So watch Ghost World in or maybe gonna get it on the DVD with physical media releases. So that, and eventually it could career destroyed by Limp Bizkit with the part of the no Results Make Ready album with the music video "Eat You Live," and yeah, it's so bad because Limp Bizkit destroyed the careers and especially Foreign Birds. And even the cameo at the end as a supporter by Bill Paskin, the "Game Over, man, Game Over" guy. But yeah, I think he might be killed in career, but I think for his careers, he might recover anytime soon. But Sarah Jessica Parker, on the hand, well, I think he was known as young actress, a unique scene in movies like Footloose, and now he was been of a few films like you familiar like another film like came a year later was also produced from Disney through Touchstone Pictures label was Edward. It was a so bad it was good movie. So if you love that, go check it. That movie's become a cult following, and also it also a couple of films including like it did another again with the Tim Burton's Monster Attacks, and also before that they also did the LS Story. It was a film starring alongside Steve Martin that it was Steve produced from the Strogan Company. This is before Terminator 2, Carol Co. So this and even Honeymoon in Vegas was a film starring alongside Nicolas freaking Cage. That's hilarious. But eventually then landed the Brick Rule and Honest to God role in the playing as Carrie Bradshaw in HBO's series Sex and the City, which become the Sarah Jessica Parker put on the A list. So as was a good cup, if you were seeing the all the films releasing in the time that the more it was really know that Sarah Jessica Parker become a well-known actress. Like he's been, I might be doing trying to ask to a rom-com to the success of Sex and the City, including Failure to the Launch, starring alongside Matthew. All right, McConaughey, and the How You Did You Hear About the Morgans, on starring alongside a fellow rom-com actor. Um, Hugh Grant, because at the time, Hugh Grant was wants to be the rom-com actor, and eventually at the time then focused on the serious films, mostly in 2010s, including like the few Guy Ritchie movies and of course the Paddington movies, the second and even the post credits cameo role um, uh, by mid credits role in the Paddington Imperial. So yeah, this like I basically is basically the British equivalent of Matthew McConaughey, but at our rest. So yeah, and eventually he appeared in the also did another HBO series that unrelated with the Sex and the City was a divorce was gone got another three series and received a lot of great to positive reviews. It's not as good as the Sex and the City, but it's still a probably was seen. I alongside Thomas Haley Church, from the as Sandman for Spider-Man 3, and Molly Shannon. So that's pretty no, and the reason, and also, I think that, and also I've been mentioned that after the success of Sex and the City, he did a lot of couple of movies and a sequel series, and just like that was fell short because of the got mixed and negative reviews and HBO and especially that it and because the Sex and the City legacy was pretty much forgotten after that, and even the actor was fired due to obvious reasons. I'm not now. So, yeah, eventually HBO Max decided to put the plug entirely, and the further final season was came out this year, and just like that, the legacy of Sex and the City was forgotten for now. But yeah, but I think that the legacy of hope. But I think the between the association between sexy Sarah Jessica Parker was associated with this and the Sexy City. So I think there's a legacy with love on, and I think that Sarah Jessica Parker was become the young actress to the rom com type actress are familiar with, but at the rest and but unfortunately the sequel, Hocus Pocus 2, was forgotten on Disney Plus because, and along with the Enchanted sequel, The Essential was pretty much mediocre. But yeah, this is doing this time as doing the Disney's Bob Chapek regime for Disney. So yeah, go watch Alex Meyer's videos about that. So yeah, yeah, I think this like I mentioned, I said before that this movie has become a cult classic because for frequent airings on Freeform during the Halloween season, with the 31 days of Halloween on Freeform. But this movie become a popular. Like I've you see that the young, this is pretty came out age well. I mean, between this and the Forgotten sequel, that is a they participated. The actors age well. Bette Little was old now. Katy Navamani was probably going old in. I even got her rehired, hired as in a new revival series of King of the Hill on Hulu, now later Disney Plus. And Sarah Jessica Parker was getting old, and after the and just like that, the series debacle was probably gal and it's like Republican careers were it might be ended soon. So and yes, this pretty much Sarah Jessica Parker's career is pretty much to say, yeah, and just like that, my career is done. Yeah, that's a joke. Anyway, but if you this is a fun melodies if you between love this movie or the Halloween family friendly Halloween movie which came out, I would recommend to check this out. But if you love DC Halloween type stuff, if you love the Hocus Pocus, you should check out Good Bad Flicks exploring video about history of Pocus movie as per why this movie become flop and why it's become a cult following and the history and the history type of the casting choices, especially production problems and production and facts and stuff like that. So you should check out in the description below, including the one fact that the Capio interested to play Max, but is too busy due to the of What Eats Gribble Great movie because it was directed by Lasse Hallström, who's a Swedish director, but it eventually replaced by Omi Mac Katz. That's an industry name, funny name. Oh god. Anyway, again, go watch it in the description below, and if you love the spell on you with Hocus Pocus. But the but anyway, back to K-pop Demon Hunters. I'll probably end the video right now. So I'm excited for the K-pop Demon Hunters sequel in taken in couple of years, but we'll see. But this is it might be Kasukun might return, including other Joe, um, Mei Hong, and Ji Yong Yoon will might be returning as the Hunter X crew, voicing the crew. Well, who knows? But if you love K-pop Demon Hunters, well, you gotta love it. And if it's become a phenomenon, especially on the timeline lines, the songs become popular on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, and and especially the Halloween costumes which came this year, because between 20 like in 2023 had Bobby, 2024 had Deadpool Wolverine. This year they got up to K-pop Demon Hunters. So there's that, and I think this is excited that because 2025 was belonged to this K-pop anime group because 2025 was a terrible year and because of Trump and there's some New York mayor become a recently got a mayor, but yeah, I'm not talking about. But still, it was a because 2025 is and also the TV channels and media goblins go massive hit down with the changing merger and shut down these different TV channels and stuff. So yeah, but other rest, but K-pop Demon Hunters belong to this that. But I think that's Netflix. But this is a big win for Netflix. And between the fifth and final season of Stranger Things come on the way this month, along with the after success of the final series finale of Squid Game and the season 2 of Wednesday series. I think Netflix is pretty damn good of the air for the Sabi studio, and especially after the Netflix reach agreement with AMC theaters to um, bigger plans that was released Netflix movies in theaters. So good luck for that. But yeah, I'm excited for the K-pop Demon Hunters 2 in 2029. Was gonna be in. I think I'm gonna be in 31 years old because I'm old. But yeah, I can't wait. But Hunter slash X was returning very soon with the bigger plans, with the bigger songs. Was gonna be better than Golden? Who knows? But we'll see. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment. Do you respect the K-pop Demon Hunters sequels will be released into the future, or do you think they? And what do you think of the K-pop Demon Hunters? Again, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna go watch on Saturday and Sunday with the switched up. So, we're excited for that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Give it a like this video, share your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so updated on the channel. And I will mention I haven't doing the update video, so I'm gonna do an update video tomorrow. But I will say this what's going on in my life. So stay tuned. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you guys later. And keep watching on What I Mean. And remember, K-pop Demon Hunters for life.